Hi Aries, it's Jenny here with your June Tarot Horoscope. So as always, we're just going to be pulling a single card for the month of June to see what's coming up. The first, whoop, a few things jumped out there. Okay, let's grab that one. So the first 2/3 of the month is Gemini season, and then we'll have solstice, summer solstice if you're in the northern hemisphere, or the winter solstice if you're in the south, and then we'll be in Cancer season. So that's what's happening in June, and your card for the month is the Knight of Coins. Lots of red for you, Aries. Okay, so we have this young man on a horse. The horse is kind of charging along. It's got this big red flag here, and in the background we have this big kind of exploding light in the circle there, and that's the Knight of Coins coming out for you. So just gonna see what he has to say. Knight of Coins. Sowing and reaping. The card shows a person who has found his proverbial place in the sun. This is all about your ability to organize your life, to turn insights into practical solutions instead of sweeping problems under the carpet. There is much to be harvested in your life. The huge, billowing red flag symbolizes the tremendous strength and almost unlimited power of a person who has found their way back to the sun, to the fire, and the source of life. By understanding your purpose and your needs, you will ensure a bountiful harvest. But you should pay attention to the fact that this card is the only one of the coin suit that does not show a coin. We see only 5 quite large red spots on a shining white area in the sky. This could be interpreted negatively. Your talent falls to pieces for lack of a connecting circle or framework. The whole dissolves into its parts because you focus too much on details. In a positive sense, the same symbol could be interpreted as a kind of explosion. If you truly have become yourself and have found your place in the world and with God, no borders will be able to contain or limit you. It is actually the small things, the seemingly insignificant, that take on a special significance. By exploring your current contradictions, you will gain experience and develop a deep sense of tranquility. Do not be afraid of conflicts. On the contrary, seek them out at the right time. Strengthen your faith in your ability to solve problems, to conquer fears, and to fulfill your desires. Practical advice. Forgive yourself and others for not being perfect. Even the garbage that we all produce can still be used as manure and hummus. You cannot change your fellow human beings, but you can accept them as they are and help them to use their talents to the greatest effect. Okay, so there's a couple things in this card. So there's some things that's kind of like probably going to be really easy for you, like a real power strength, and some things that might feel a bit challenging for you. So the like fiery sort of feeling, this is coins, this is an earth element card, but the image of it is very, very powerful, very energetic. There's this explosive kind of feeling to it, which kind of matches your fire energy, this like Aries spark, this go-getter attitude. But this is card, because it's an earth sign is more actually about consistency and manifesting and building. That's kind of the reaping and sowing. It's about the having and resources. So this card is a really good sort of suggestion or assist to your like fire energy in terms of consistency and actually manifesting something with that energy. So Aries is this, this fresh spark, this new life, this creative, just revving energy, and there's quite the possibility of that just like firing off, but not being consistent. Like having a great idea and powering your way through as long as you have enthusiasm, but not necessarily following through with commitment or realizing, okay, like if you come up with a roadblock, if something like challenges you and stops you and kind of halts your forward momentum, that doesn't mean you have to stop, or that you get let down, or you're like, well, I want it to be this way, and or you just want to power through. Like there can be this, okay, we can actually assess things, we can work things through. What do we need here? Coins as an element, a fire element, is a lot to do with needs and resources. So what skills you have and you might need to brush up on, what it is you're actually trying to build, and what the resources are that you have and that you don't have, which is your needs. So understanding your needs is going to really, really help the consistency and being able to manifest to the end result the things that you get really excited about. So if you just have the fire, but you don't have the kindling and the resources to burn, then you're going to burn out. So this is really like, in order to be able to harvest and reap and build into whatever it is that you might be wanting to do, you're going to need to be able to look at your resources. And especially with this energy, there's so much strength and power and possibility that every one person has. And Aries is really so much potential energy anyway. Like, you're also cooking, there's so much that can happen. And this card is really inviting you to say, if you don't look at your needs, then all of that potential, or that potential, is going to be hard to actually manifest into something. It'll just be a lot of potential that burns out. And that's that kind of thing, is, are we just going to explode and then go out in a ball of glory but not actually get anything done because we didn't actually take care of our needs and fuel us so that we can continue to burn that bright light? Or is it like that explosion of bounty, that, oh my God, look at all the things that we can do, like bringing in this energy and this creativity with the consistency and the fuel and the resources that we need. And then you can have this, wow, like dream big eruption of bounty, not just subsistence, getting, scraping by. That's not really your style. So yeah, there's this concept of no borders and no limits, and this unimaginable strength, but that has rules that you need to feed, you need to rest in order to keep going. So but the thing that might be that challenge is, what happens when you get blocked? What happens if something contradicts you? What happens if there's a conflict? There might be, are you just going to fight your way through it? Are you going to kind of approach things diplomatically and see what you can work through? Are you going to try to include other people's needs and desires, even if they conflict with yours? Or are you just going to champion what it is that you want? Or are you going to walk away? Are you going to, if you get stalled, say, well, fine, I'm going to go off in another trajectory. I have more dreams I can do over here. So how you deal with conflict is going to be really, really important for the long-term manifesting of your goals. So that's going to be something for you to work out. And sometimes the challenge, the stereotypical challenge for Aries is that conflict equals fighting. That Aries is the warrior sign that's like, something's bothering me, I'm going to fight it. The way to get through to something is a straight line and punch through. And so for some of you, that might be your go-to. That doesn't have to be. There's definitely more nuance, because really the warrior archetype isn't just this like berserker that destroys things. It's somebody that has so much passion connected to their goal that they're willing to fight for it. There's a lot of people which has a lot of manifestation abilities. There's a lot of people that lack that warrior fire, and they may have dreams or they may have desires, but if there's conflict or if it's threatened in some way, then there's not so much of an ability to rally and defend that which matters to them. So that fight, that kind of warrior instinct can be really excellent, but it requires really assessing your allies and your enemies. So just because something challenges you or blocks you doesn't make it your enemy. Doesn't mean you need to fight it. It can be, maybe we can negotiate, or, oh, this block, that got in my way was a really great time to stop and assess, and I realized, ooh, actually I was maybe on a wrong trajectory, or I could correct course, or actually, yeah, I was really tired. Maybe this is a great time for a break, build up those energy fuels again, and then keep going. So anytime there's a limit or a block or something contradicting you, that's a really good opportunity for growth, for change, for rest, to just reassess and see what needs to be done before, instead of just jumping into like maybe your first gut instinct. So listen to your gut instinct, but don't rely on it 100% of the time, because everybody's fallible. And that's even this kind of note in the card here, is forgive yourself and others for not being perfect, which means also allow the possibility that you are not perfect. Allow the possibility that somebody else isn't perfect. Don't get so angry if you feel like somebody betrayed you, because did they betray you? Or did you have an expectation of perfection that they didn't live up to? And same for yourself. Did you let yourself down? Did you let others down? Is that a terrible thing? Or are you just a human and that was maybe past your limit? And in fact, that's a great thing to assess, is, did you overreach yourself and assume you could do everything, but you didn't resource yourself enough to have that consistency? So that's an important thing as well, is to understand that a lot of our disappointments is actually just an expectation of perfection on us and others that we then punish. So we want to have a bit of that patience, or grace, I suppose is the better word. Is just that it's okay. I'm okay. I'm doing my best. You're okay. You're doing your best. We'll try to get things done to the best of our abilities, but it's not always going to look the way we want to all the time. So that's kind of a bit of the card. This is all happening, or at the moment we're in Gemini season for the beginning of June until solstice. And Gemini season is kind of an interesting, anytime there's an air sign with fire energy, fire requires the fuel and the spark, but it also requires the oxygen. So air energy and fire energy can really, really work to like build things up a lot. And Gemini season, Gemini is enthusiasm. Gemini and Aries can play really well off of each other, because they both have a lot of this like childlike excitement of the new. Aries is the new inspiration, the new spark of life, and Gemini is a new idea. Let's learn new things. And so this injection of enthusiasm for the new and beginning new things and connecting with other people. Gemini is very communicative, wanting to connect and be in relation with others in a very cognitive way. Let's talk, let's learn, let's share. All of that can be brought in for you, especially if you are manifesting something. If you're working on a goal, this is like a great time to network, bring in connections with others, have other people have fresh ideas and new insight. If you're doing things one way and somebody else could say, hey, a new idea, a new offer, a new possibility. If you're so focused on doing things your way, then you might miss out on something that could be really beneficial. So being open to the connections that come to you and say, wow, yeah, okay, like let's try this. Let's try something new. That can like really, really be a really complementary energy. And there's also, if we're working on having grace with not being perfect, Gemini season brings in a lot of humor. Gemini is the trickster, is the jokester, is like, well, you know what, some things happen. Let's not fuss about it because I don't need things to be perfect. Gemini is like, I'm a beginner, I make mistakes, and that's how I learn. And we don't have to be so serious. So that kind of humor and accepting that things aren't going to be perfect if you're a beginner can really help with that feeling of, like, again, not feeling angry or betrayed by other people if they make a mistake. Try to laugh with them. Try to laugh at yourself. Like that's an invitation that helps with connection as well, because when we are angry or betrayed, that's very isolating, and that sets us as us versus them, and it's not connecting. It's not community building, and it's not collaborative. So Gemini's season is really inviting that collaboration. Then we get solstice. So that's summer solstice in the north. So that may be this peak of excitement, this peak of, can feel quite manic. There's so much light and excitement and energy. Excuse me. So that can be like this culminating feeling, this collaboration, like, oh my God, we're going to make something big. This is amazing. I'm unstoppable. It's great. But that is the turning point. We're at the extreme of that light energy, which means from now on, the darkness is coming back in, which means we might be in the extremes of enthusiasm and excitement. And that may be now when we start to see some more struggles, some more trials, some more blocks, some more challenges. And it is that enthusiasm of the light that's going to help us have the grace and the resiliency and the remembering of that delight as things may get into challenges. And if you are in the Northern Hemisphere and you're in that kind of dark space, where things have been like in stasis, things aren't necessarily growing at the moment. This collaboration may be more in like concepts of what could be possible, what do we want to try, or this may have been like a really, there can be blocks as well. If things have felt really heavy, things have just been so challenging all the time, and you want to give up because it just feels so heavy and dark. This is the turning point. This is when the light starts to come back in. This is when enthusiasm and delight and wins can start coming back in again. So again, these don't always have to be like the energetics of challenge and successes aren't necessarily going to match up 100% with the solstices of day and light. It's not like autumn is always things getting hard and spring is always things getting better. There's symbols that you can hold on to energetically, regardless of what timeline they might play out for you specifically. But that's just something to hold on to is you're never going to have successes without challenges, no matter what the ratio, and you're never going to have complete failures without that opportunity for light and growth as well. So, and the better luck next time kind of feeling now that you know something you didn't know before. So that's what solstice is going to invite in for you. And then we have Cancer season, and Cancer season is the sign of the mother, not necessarily the literal female mother, but the feminine energy of the nurturer and the caretaker. So if we are working on trying to build some sort of like manifesting some kind of project or resources, this is like, let's nurture it more, let's feed it more. Like we might be close to reaping, but we're also, we still want to inject some care and protection and just that love that comes from the mother. Aries or Cancer season can be emotional. I mean, Cancer is a water sign; it's an emotional sign anyway. But anytime you're working with Mother energy, a lot of people have potentially difficult relationships with Mother energy, so it can bring up emotions, frustrations, especially if this is around perfection. If you feel like you as a mother are messing things up and you're not a perfect mom, or you have bitterness to your mother for making mistakes and not doing things perfectly, trying to inject that grace into the concept of motherhood as well. We're all just human. We're all just trying. We're doing our best. And sometimes that best is not enough for you to feel healthy and taken care of, but it may still be the best. So trying to have that grace of, yeah, bringing in that. It doesn't have to be about a fight. Doesn't have to be somebody wronged you, but it's also may have, things may not have been safe, and that's a fine thing to deal with. So Cancer season may bring in more emotions, and that can be challenging for you. It can be challenging for other people. So trying to bring that grace and, again, that unconditional love, that ideal mother archetype, that none of us can actually tap into 100%, but we can do our best. We can try to be that unconditional supportive love for ourselves, for our projects, for our community. All of that is going to be the invitation at solstice, moving into Cancer season. So I think I will leave it at that. And that's that's what we'll leave you with. So if you are interested and you want a little bit more support and understanding of more of the astrological transits for Gemini season up till solstice, to just be aware of some of the energies that are going to be coming up and different tools that might be helpful for you, do go to my Gemini season workshop. It's on my YouTube page, and it's a pay what you can workshop, so it's super accessible, and that's going to just give you a little bit more tools for what you're going to be working with this season up until solstice. So other than that, have a lovely June, and I will see you next month. Aries, take care.